We did it. We're live.
There we
What
go.
is
There we
happening?
go.
Hi, Hervé.
What's going on, Justin? How you
Welcome to
doing?
Chats with Matt. I am not Matt Faircloth. You are
Not
Matt Faircloth.
Matt Faircloth. Now, is one of us going to do their best impression of Matt Faircloth for
I leave this to
show?
you. Please share with us your best Matt Faircloth impression. This is how we start when he's
I
not
could
here.
do the Matt Faircloth dance.
Oh, is that what he does? Does he do this? Is that what Matt does? Matt do that?
Yeah, that's his dance. That's as much as he does. That's as much as he does. That's a back and forth.
I know how Hervé dances. I saw it. I saw it in California.
Hey, don't I remember that time when we were
don't talk about it. We don't talk about it.
We're not talking about that. What happens out there stays out there.
Guys, welcome to Chats with Matt. I'm your temporary co-host, Justin Fraser. Hervé Francois is here. Matt Faircloth is visiting the Mouse House with his family. So we let him take the day off and go on down to have some fun with the family. In the meantime, you get us. We get to hang out with you and hopefully answer some of your questions, make a little fun of Matt because he's not here to defend himself, and chat about what we got going on. So, of course, we want to engage with you guys. We want to answer your questions. We want to give away some swag and see how we can help you on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Hervé, how is it up there? Is it freezing cold? Is it snowing yet? What?
You know, it's on the chill. It starts off real chilly, frost on the grass,
Yeah.
and then it slowly warms up to the high
Warming up. All right.
60s.
All right.
Morning, it's a little chilly.
That's good.
A little chilly, but you know, well, listen, it's all good. It's Friday. We're here. We got our health. We pumped up. We're doing deals. We had a great boot camp session last night with the BP boot campers. Thanks so much for joining. I hope you guys learned a lot from that session last night. We had a lender come on, talk to you about what he's seeing out there in the marketplace and different type of products that they're lending on. And Justin, like I said last night, man, they sound busy. Those guys are underwriting deals. They are out there. So a lot of activity going on. I hope folks aren't discouraged. So much going on. We want you guys to come up, regardless the platform you're on, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Where else? I heard that we're on TikTok. I don't know.
TikTok.
TikTok. Top tick. You know me. I'm not the millennial.
Hervé, we're gonna get Hervé dancing on TikTok. That's gonna be how we make our millions. Actually, this is our new business plan. Since we can't find any properties, we're just gonna start dancing on TikTok for some money.
We should have done that all throughout 2022. We're doing great.
Oh, we'd be in a much better position, I guess. Guys, let us know you're here. I see there's a bunch of you watching. Leave us a comment. We can see all your comments. Let us know that you're here. Say hello. Say hi.
So, Justin, talk to our guests about how this whole swag bag thing works.
If they say hello and ask us some questions, we can probably send them some swag. I think that's kind of how it works. Fairly straightforward.
We got some nice.
We got people in the background that can take your info and send you the stuff. It's that easy.
That's
that easy.
That's it. I heard it's pretty good.
Hello, Heather. What's going on? Heather
how's it going? Thanks for joining us this morning. Steven Smith, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Folks, please put your questions right there in the chat group.
Justin, we're here to help. We're here to answer questions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Hervé and I are just going to probably make fun of each other for a half an hour. And you guys, I mean, that might be worth it too. I don't know. But Hervé, can we share a win? I know it's hard. But this morning was a win, even though it hurts in the short term. Can you share with everyone what happened?
What I told folks, because I had office hours with some of our boot campers this morning, right before this started at 11 a.m. Eastern. Folks, please feel free to do it. So in this biz, a couple of things, right? We always say what I told those boot campers is you can give yourself whatever title that you want in real estate, general partner, general manager, principal, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, all we are solution providers, right? I mean, we have to provide solution. How are we going to manage this asset? Where can we find a property manager? How are we going to raise the capital? Where are we going to find the deal? Is this a good market to invest, right? We're always providing solutions and things like that. And then the second thing is, what I told them is, in this business, we never win or lose. We win or learn. So, Justin, you're right. It is. I will put this one, what we went through this morning, as a good learning experience. And I think at the end of the day, it was definitely the right decision. I think that you think that, Matt thinks that. So collectively, we think that as well. But it was the right decision. And basically, folks, what happened this morning was we have been working on a deal for about 40 to 45 days. This was a nice close to 400 unit property that we were looking to acquire. We have been digging into the numbers deep. Justin and I visited the property about 3 weeks ago, walked through the property. Looked like an amazing opportunity, ran through the numbers. We submitted an LOI. The LOI was an attractive LOI. We felt we were close. We had a good call with our property manager this morning, just again, fine-tooth comb through the numbers. And at the end of the day, folks, we had to turn the deal down. It was disappointing, but it was the right thing to do. After our call with our property manager this morning, I called up the broker and I said, listen, Mr. Broker, I'm so sorry, but unfortunately, we're going to have to pass on this deal. We went through the numbers like crazy. We ripped up the spreadsheet 10 million times, but the numbers just did not pan out for us in regards to the returns that we need to provide for our investors. However, if your seller is still interested, this is where the deal looks attractive for us. This is where we could purchase the deal on a per door basis. And I gave him that number as well. So listen, it's, like I told the boot campers, you put your head in the sand for 5 minutes, you pull it back out, and it's on to the next. I emailed our loan broker the same thing. Hey, listen, sorry, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to move forward with this deal. He's like, no problem. Thanks for the heads up. We'll be with you guys on the next one, kind of thing. That's exactly. That's the biz.
And guys, that's a win. We were looking at the underwriting and really feeling like, okay, maybe we're pushing rents a little too heavy. Maybe we're getting a little tight on expenses. And, we kind of got a dash of cold water from our manager this morning saying like, hey, there's too many areas where we're being aggressive. Sometimes we can be aggressive one way. Like, let's say we're going to, go get the higher rents or try to be a leader in the market for rents. Well, then we're going to have to do, maybe add more CapEx, right? There's trade-offs for that. Like, if we want to have the highest rents, we've got to have the nicest stuff inside those units. At the end of the day, the property is a certain vintage. The amenities are what they are. It's located where it is. There's certain things we can't really change about the property. So look, I think this is a win. It's a bummer because we spent a lot of time talking about this one internally, visiting and all that. But you know what? We're just close to the next one. And you never know with these things. I wouldn't be surprised if in a month or two we get another call and then someone asks us, maybe we can come back up, come look around again. We'll see if certain things change. Right. But Hervé, that goes to Stephen Desmond's question. He said, with rates going up, when will sellers bring down the prices?
The sellers.
Let us know if you find that out, Stephen. We're waiting.
Stephen, when do you see sellers bringing down prices? No,
he says cap rates got to go up. Can we get 10% cash on cash for investors? Right now the bank's giving us 4.5% risk free. I guess is that what the savings accounts are going for now? 4.5. My goodness.
Not my savings account.
But I mean, he's got a good point, right? What's happening with prices? Interest rates have ballooned. Are we seeing a corresponding drop in prices?
You got to remember, man, we're in a very bipolar economy right now, right? I mean, you would like to say that the economy is weak, especially after these series of interest rate increases that the Fed has put through us this year. But the economy is not weak. People want the economy to be weak because if the economy gets weak, it will be a signal that these rate increases have been helping and now flowing through the economy, and unemployment rate is beginning to increase. But that has not been the case. And there is the reason why we're in a bipolar economy. So, Stephen, prices will and have started to soften. I think the biggest difference we're seeing this year versus last year, just a lot of aggression on prices. You just saw folks going ahead and submitting offers 30 days before the LOI was due, and with prices, $50,000, $100,000 higher than the asking price, and so on and so forth. So a lot of that fervor, a lot of that craze has calmed down. I do believe a little bit more in a buyer's market right now, but you have to ask yourself, and I hope you are not waiting for something to take place in your crystal ball to tell you to get into real estate, because last year you had a low interest rate environment and it was a very strong seller's market. This year you have a high interest rate environment and is a buyer's market. So if you didn't want to buy last year because you felt that prices were too high, and you don't want to buy this year because you feel interest rates are too high, then when are you going to buy? right? We bought in 2021 when interest rates were low. We have bought in 2022. We will buy in 2022 again, and we will buy in 2023 because this is what we do. And you try to figure out a way for the numbers to work. You don't force it. If the numbers don't work, the numbers don't work. You move on and on to the next deal. So prices, and again, let's be real estate is very local. So I'm not sure what particular markets you're talking about. I think nationwide prices have started to soften even more in those markets where prices were very strong last year. Those big tier 1 markets, Dallas, Atlanta, Charlotte, Tampa, Phoenix, and so on and so forth. You've seen prices come down considerably in those markets. Not a crash, it's a softening. Big difference. So it's going to continue. Folks are talking about Fed rate hike again in early November, 75 bips again in December. There'll be another 150 basis points by the end of this year, right? And maybe some more in early 2023. We'll see. But you don't let that upend your business. We know that this is a cyclical business. You sharpen your pencils. You see where, you know what, maybe we're not going to, put a big landscaping and LED package. Perhaps we're going to cut back on that, right? But you also want to be realistic because it's only going to help yourself and most importantly, your investors in the long run.
Yeah, great points, Hervé. Jean-Pierre, our buddy Jean-Pierre, always with a great question here. Are lenders asking for higher down payments or more contingency now interests are higher? So what are those conversations like when you're talking with our mortgage?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Lenders are asking for more down payment because, they see the risk out there with the higher rate environment that we're in. So last year when we were buying deals, we were getting, 75% LTV, right? So we were able to put down 25%, cash down payment and go ahead and lever up the rest. This year, they're asking us to put down 40% cash down payment, 35% cash down payment in order.
What happens to the returns when we do that?
The returns go down. The returns go down, right?
Because raise way more. Yeah.
We have to pay more expensive equity to our investors because we have to raise that much more in equity, right? So that's a challenge. 100%, that's a challenge. No doubt about it. So yes, Jean-Pierre, lenders are definitely asking for bigger down payment now because, we have our balance sheets, lenders have their balance sheets as well. And so they have to manage the risk on the balance sheets the best that they can, knowing that we are in this rising rate environment.
Yeah, that's a great point. And how much equity do I have to have in a deal to leverage it? Steven, I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Maybe are you talking about getting a refi or maybe putting a HELOC on that? Lenders are going to want to see, especially these days, more than that 20%, in equity. They're going to want to see a lot more than that. So probably that's going to vary widely depending on the size and type of property. So I would definitely talk to a lender for your specific question to figure out, how much equity, you need to leave in that property. Hervé, Micolette Florent has got a question here coming in from YouTube. And yo, Adrian, what's up, man? Good to saying soften.
Yo, Adrian.
Prices soften in New York, but still high for my liking. I think we can all agree with that. Still high for all of our likings. I think that's a good summary of all real estate right now. But okay, so Micolette, I'm probably butchering your name. Sorry about that, Hervé. Located in Trenton, New Jersey. We know a little bit about that. Has 4 single-family houses valued at $300,000, all paid off. Congratulations. Working on closing a 4-unit building, and after repaired, it should be worth about $300,000 as well. He's probably going to use all cash to buy it and fix it up. So he's got $300K locked up in these 4 properties. He's going to have another $300K he's putting into this 4-plex, all cash to buy it and fix it up. Now, question is, I want to double my portfolio each year and not use as much of my own cash. What's the best way to be appealing to banks and investors to get financing on larger deals, $500K, $1 million, $1.5 million deals? What do you think?
You don't want to. I can understand why you don't want to use all cash to go out to what he said, double your portfolio every year or
Yeah.
something? Yeah,
So they'll have 8 units here. So let's pick up another 8 next year.
right. So I mean, yeah, that because it gets real challenging real quick to double your portfolio with all cash purchases, right? And you may, if you are going to use all cash now to buy this next set of 4-unit building, I hope that within there the thought process that in a couple of years, you'll be excuse me, refinancing to go ahead and pull some cash out of the property, right? To put some debt in, because in real estate, you absolutely need leverage to grow your portfolio. You just cannot grow your portfolio without leverage. It's next to impossible. It really, really is. Again, to grow your portfolio, not to stay stagnant. And who likes staying stagnant? Stagnant is boring. We want to grow our portfolio. So you need the leverage. So how to? Yes, think about cash out refi, and using those proceeds, perhaps set some aside for CapEx, and then using those proceeds as a down payment towards buying your next set of properties. A HELOC could work. You have to look at the loan terms you're getting from the lenders. Some lenders do not allow you to get a HELOC on a rental. Okay, obviously on your primary residence, but not on your rental. So again, but every lender is different. So take a look into that as well. But if you can, then HELOC certainly is another way to help to expand your portfolio. And then, truth be told, man, just straight, commercial loans, right? Straight commercial loans. Now, I know, you may be hesitant on that based on where rates are right now. But again, the idea is you get into that traditional loan now, that conventional loan now, with the idea of refining down the road.
Yeah, look, you can always refinance if rates go down, right?
Absolutely.
That's an option.
Absolutely.
So, but Nicolette, let's talk about this. You got 300K locked up in your 4 units. You got 300K that you're going to put into the next fourplex. You could put when that's stabilized, right? You could put a portfolio loan. So let's take your numbers. Now these 2 properties are worth 600 grand, and you've got that in cash into the deal. So let's say we take a portfolio loan, very low leverage. Let's say just 50% loan to value, right? You can pull out 300 grand, let's say, out of that portfolio, right? So now you've got some leverage on that. Should still cash flow because you're only taking 50% on the loan, but now you've got 300K for the next one. That 300K could be your down payment on your $8-9 million property, right? That's 30% down on $1 million property. So maybe somewhere in that 800 range or so be a great down payment, cover some closing costs and initial reserves and all that. And then there you are. There's your larger deal that you're looking for, that $500 to $1 million deal. So I would say stabilize what you got, put a portfolio loan on it, take that 300 back, and use that as a down payment on the next one. Don't be afraid to use the leverage. Make sure the numbers work though, and then plan to refinance as soon as you can, as soon as rates come back to something that get back on the ground a little bit.
Good stuff. Absolutely.
Cool.
I believe
Guys, we need more
pronunciation, Justin, is Michelet. Michelet Fleuron.
Michelet. I apologize, Michelet. I'm sorry. I am terrible with pronunciations.
He didn't. Justin skipped his French classes.
Right, Herv?
Really? He went there. Okay. You're lucky you're in North Carolina. I'm up here dealing with your Yankees all by myself. You get to root for your Yankees in North Carolina. It's nothing
at least I get the playoff games on TV, because a lot of times we don't get the Yankees games. That's so true. I do miss it. I miss a lot. I don't get to watch my Jets. They're not on TV down here. All I get is Panther games. It's boring.
Of all the years, it's like once every 20 years the Jets have a good season.
I know. Dude, they've already won as many games as they won all last season. It's incredible.
Like years ago.
Jeez.
They're on the right trend. They're on the right. All right, so Steven said, how much equity do I have to have in a deal to leverage it? We discussed that, right?
For HELOC, yeah. I don't actually know what HELOC rates are offering right now. I think that you've just got to stay in tune with your lender and call them and ask them right now. It's really going to depend on how experienced you are, how much cash you have in reserves, what is the property performing. There's so many factors that normally, and maybe in the past, we would have been able to give you some standard guidelines on that. I feel like everything is just up for grabs these days with lenders, and there's a million different ways that you can maybe gain an edge or lose an edge. So you've just got to talk to your lenders and find out what they're willing to offer you right now, because I think there's a lot of inconsistency. So I would say call a few lenders as well.
100%. Good points, man.
Yeah.
Good points. Questions out there?
Yeah, we need more questions. We got a few more minutes here. We can hang out and
please. Is I don't know if we got Nubiko in the background. If we can have you please put on the link to where folks here that are asking questions can get their DeRosa swag. Let's go.
Okay. Hey, I got a question. Chris Shepard. All right. Can I walk us through an exterior upgrade on a 50+ apartment we've done? Let me think about how I can do this.
Can you walk us through it? Oh, he's asking you for your services. Shoot. Is that what he's asking?
No. He just wants me to talk about like what we do when we upgrade exteriors, I think. Chris.
Oh,
if you can clarify your question a little bit, but yeah. I'll just start talking and you just clarify me as I go or redirect me. What upgrades did we do? Okay. Chris, for us, when we're looking at a property, Hervé calls and says, Justin, I got a property, go look at it, right? Let's start chatting about this property. Oh, Chris says he's happy to come on. Do we want, I think join the conversation live. They just Nubiku put the link there, I think, Chris. If you want to come on, we'll talk about exterior upgrades on a property. It's there in that link from Nubiku.
But you're right, it's a big open ended question. There's so many things that you can do.
Oh, here he is. We're gonna bring Chris on.
Oh, Chris, yeah, Chris.
What's up, Chris?
There you go. Chris got work to do, man.
How are we doing?
What's happening, man? How are you?
I've got a property walk on a 35 unit today, so
yeah.
Also, it's kind of a cool day. We have one of our virtual assistants visiting from the Philippines.
Oh yeah,
she's staying with me, and I just dropped her off at our office. So
nice,
pretty awesome.
So were they coming over anyway already, or did you bring them together for team building, or what? I'm just curious about this.
She has been a long time like VA for us. We started doing VAs about 4 years ago, and so she was one of the first ones we hired. Yeah. And we actually started an offshoot company called Offsite Professionals, and so she was coming for the NARPM conference, National Association of Residential Property Managers in Vegas. So we just spent 4 days in Vegas.
There you go.
Having our
love it.
She's our headhunter. So
okay.
Basically, she was chatting up other property managers saying, hey, you need VAs. Like, look at me. I'm here in Vegas.
Yeah.
And,
that's so cool. Well, we've got Nubiku who put up the link there. Nubiku's been with me for like 4 or 5 years as well. So it's great to find some folks that really become part of the team. And
I know.
I can't wait till the day I can sell Nubiku, come on over and we can come hang out. So one day, buddy, we'll get you over here. But yeah, so Chris, you're touring a 35 unit today.
Yes. Yep. I'm about to run over there here in about.
All right. Where is it? What state are we in? What state are we in?
Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon.
You see my timbers around right here?
Yeah.
That's so at the Timbers games, when someone scores a goal, they cut off a round of the Timbers tree that has all the scarves on it. And I ended up securing one of these in an auction.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
Nice.
You Pacific Northwesterners, you guys love your trees.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
Oh yeah.
All right. So so can I help? Where do you need guidance the most on the touring, the inspecting, or how to build the capex, or like where is it? Can I help you the most?
Honestly, I'm pretty interested in just hearing like on a property that you have done already. Maybe what was the one you bought in 2017? Hervé was saying you guys found out that it was a little less occupied than was expecting. But I'm just interested in like, okay, you've got 1970s product. What are you doing? Like what actually did you do?
Yeah.
And
great.
What was that like?
Roofs almost always, right? Like unless they've been replaced in the last 10 or 15 years, even 15 is kind of pushing it. A 25-year roof usually only lasts about 20 years anyway. So we're always checking that. We're checking for leaks up there. windows is the other thing. We get a lot of like those single pane metal windows, which look terrible, but also are terribly energy inefficient. So we like to replace the windows. Drainage is a big thing, and probably will be even more so for you up there. And just looking at each building and thinking about, where does the water go when it rains? Okay, it comes off the roof? Is it hitting a gutter? Is there no gutter there and it's falling down? Is that water falling down right in front of the walkway? Is it now building a trench? Is that trench now going underneath the foundation of my building? Is there water getting into my crawl space or my basement, right? Thinking about all that, thinking about the water that comes down the parking lot, and is it draining properly, right? So water sort of management and the flow of water, I'm always trying to sort of visualize like, okay, where's the lowest point? Where's that water going to come from? Because that will eat away at your properties big time, right? So we need to divert that or make sure it's diverted. And I also recommend going to tour the property when it's raining.
What is the solution for that? Like,
it totally depends on the situation, but it could be that it could be sometimes just gutters and downspouts will fix it. We have a lot of times gutters and downspouts is the fix. Our property in Fayetteville that you mentioned had no gutters. And that was it. So the tenants would walk out and they literally get hit with a sheet of rain coming off the roof, right? So you put some gutters on.
Oregon has gutters.
Oh, good. Okay, great. So that's good to know. But then where's it going when it gets down, right? So you come down the downspout, right? And does it just end right there on the corner? And now we're funneling that water into the corner, or is got those long sort of black tubes that are diverting it?
Storm drains, yeah.
Right?
Storm drainage is, it's like 50-50 whether it's here or not.
Right. Well, a lot of times what we see is like it goes into something that looks like it used to maybe drain it away, but it's been covered in with dirt and the lawnmower got to it and it's been caved in. And so the water just kind of sits there and doesn't go anywhere. Right. And eats away at the building. So that's sort of one, what else you can do about water. Worst case would be like retaining walls and storm drains and things like that. But that really depends on, the property, the layout. We have a big field in one of our properties in Winston-Salem, and there used to be a playground there. And when we went by, it literally had 1.5 feet of water in it because there was nothing draining. I'm like, how are these kids going to play? There's 1.5 feet of water here. So we had to go in and like literally get our landscaper in there, and they redug out the drains. They were all clogged up and like massive storm drains, and connected them and ran a new pipe and everything. And now it drains great. And we put a new playground there. Right. And it's a great, well draining field. So it totally depends on the exact situation, but you definitely look for water runoff, and you guys get a lot of rain. So that's going to be important. Other things is like what structural, on the exterior side, I'm always looking for the cracks in the brick. Do you guys have brick buildings up there?
We have unreinforced masonry.
Okay.
But not really a bunch of brick. If we do have brick, it's probably a brick facade. So,
okay. So like our stuff down here in the Southeast is like almost all brick all the time. Right. So I'm looking for not just like cracks in the grout, but like cracks through the brick is when we start to see big problems, right? If there's enough pressure that is breaking the brick. And then if you go back to the other side and you see like a matching crack on the other side of the building, that's a key indicator that like something's happening. We'll get a lot of like structural things here where we'll have to go dig down and put piers underneath the building, like literally this pier that goes and sits underneath the building and gets like drilled into the bedrock to keep that building from like falling down. So we do a lot of that kind of stuff on the exterior. Parking lots is always going to be a big thing. Your lender is going to have a problem with the parking lots if they're all beat up. We did a refinance last year, and our lender's still giving us a hard time about like the alligatoring cracking that's going on. We made some repairs. They want more. Something they always stick on. Lately, insurance has been really sticky on sidewalks. We have the amount of sidewalk repairs that we have been making is incredible across the portfolio in the last 12 months. I think lenders look at that as like a safety issue. Someone can trip on a sidewalk, a crack. We have one project in Kentucky that our bid right now is $100,000 of sidewalk repairs that we were not planning on. We're appealing with the city and making the case that part of it is a public street and we shouldn't have to be responsible for that.
Is that from tree roots?
Some of it's from tree roots. Some of it's just natural decay. We don't get a freeze too much, but sometimes, you get in there, you get the freeze and it rips that up like little potholes in the sidewalk. But a lot of it's like tree roots and, just natural. Anytime there's a lip in the sidewalk, they want that evened out and fixed up. Other exterior things we normally look at: roofs, windows, siding. You want to make sure, as much as you can, is there rot happening underneath that siding? Does it all look like it's in good condition? Water, going back to water, like that's your big thing, is like, is there water coming in, right? Is the roof solid? Is it keeping the water out? Are your drains and gutters and everything else keeping the water away from those buildings? That's probably like our largest expense, that we see. And then you can get into fun stuff like amenities. Like, is there a space that you could put some amenities in, like a dog park or playground, or just a common space, or a walking trail, or a grilling area? All these things that, a 35 unit, that's a little small for that kind of stuff, but any way that you can even just set up a field, that you can fence in and give people a space to run the dogs around or something is always, a value too.
Yeah. I'm honestly like not feeling great about the 35 unit, but I'm still going to do the walk and we're going to sharpen the pencil on it. But we have a 30 unit and a 21 unit and then a handful of others that I have capital funds to improve. And like I'm just trying to figure out what exactly we need to do.
So one thing that I didn't mention that we always invest in first before any of that stuff I mentioned is safety and security. And that can make a huge difference on your property. So I would tour this during the day, but also go back at night. How well lit is the property? You can't control really who's there, who's hanging out. That's something you can fix over time with operations, but are there a bunch of dark corners? Can you see through the breezeways, or are all the lights out, right? Are there lights on the front doors? Are there lights in the common areas? Does it, is there a lot of foot traffic coming through? We built a fence because there was a high traffic area coming off from some train tracks behind one of our properties. So we built a fence and stopped the traffic. So think about, that. And then of course, like staircases or any other things that might present a safety hazard, tripping hazard. You want to be able to take care of that as well.
That is a really great point. Actually, 3 weeks ago, we had bullets that came through one of our apartments.
Okay.
And
hopefully nobody hurt.
No one was hurt.
Good.
It was like, and we're still trying to figure out exactly what happened. But like, in all of my property management career, that only happened one time at another property. And, at that point, I'm like, okay, I don't feel safe going out there. We're going to like drop that client, but this is one of our syndicated deals. And,
All right. So the lighting and like safety concerns is like the first step, but if you are having active crime, then there's a few things we can do. First off, even when we're underwriting deals, looking at deals, Hervé always calls the police department, right? Hervé, we talked about this for a deal I toured 2 days ago or yesterday. Like, we're on the phone with the police department. What's happening in this area? What kind of calls do you guys get? How frequently are you out there? But you already own this, right? So now we're in the middle of it. So that's information you want, and you want a good relationship with them, but you've already bought it. So what can we do? Something that we do on our larger properties is when we can, we try to convince a officer to come and live at the property. It's called a courtesy officer. And so they become one of our tenants. We will usually give them free rent to do that. In exchange, they bring the police car home every night, and they do have a daily report where they just have to walk the property, write up a few bullet points on what they saw, and submit that to our property manager. So that's a courtesy officer. So I'm sitting free rent, but I need that presence there. We had that property in Fayetteville was sort of like a long winding, and it had an entrance at the front and an entrance at the bottom. And I put a courtesy officer at the top of the property and at the bottom of the property, right? We gave away 2 free units because we cleaned everything up.
I've never heard of that before. That's amazing info.
It is. There's a few downsides. One, sometimes you can't find an officer. Like police departments are short-staffed right now. You can't always find someone that wants to move into your apartment in a high crime area, right? So you've got to find like the right kind of like rookie or new officer that's willing to and is trying to save some money and live for free. Like, you got to find the right person for that. But definitely it goes back to building a relationship with the coordinators and the people in the police department, and letting them know, like, hey, we're here. We're trying to make this place better. You can ask them to do some extra patrols. Sometimes they might do that. You can also, if you have an office, we stock our offices with, the fridge is full, there's snacks and chips and everything else. And we tell all the police officers, there's a desk for you. You want to come get out of the heat of the summer in July in North Carolina, come sit down, sit in the air conditioning, do some paperwork, or sit on the couch and relax for a little bit. We got a spot for you. No questions asked. Come hang out at our property, right? So then they know they're passing through. They can pop in, grab a Sprite, grab a cup of water or something, and coffee, and hang out, right? So we want them to feel like they can come by and hang out. Yeah. We actually had a model unit. We had like a second model. It was like the old model. We just left it furnished, and we just let the cops for a while just go sit on the couch and stock the fridge for them, and they could come and go for a little while. So that kind of works. But you can't, like, a lot of times, especially the size properties you're talking about, to give up a unit for free or that, like, that's a lot, right? You probably, maybe you don't have a model, and you don't want to necessarily.
We don't have a model. We don't have an office.
But you're talking about like 5% of your revenue on a 20%, 20 unit property, right? So that can be very, very expensive. The other thing you could do is work with the local PD on like some very targeted enforcement. And what that means is, like, we've had, breezeways where it's like, man, something is happening in these units over here. There's constantly people coming and going at all hours of the night. We get all kinds of calls from this breezeway. Like, if you want to buy something in the middle of the night, to go over there on that side of the property, right? So what do we do?
This property that I'm talking about is adjacent to an elementary school.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So then the cops are going to really want to have this cleaned up too.
Yeah,
right? It's in everybody's best interest.
You should have led with that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what I would say, but what you can do, if you can't convince someone to live there, is you can pay for extra patrols as well. In Winston-Salem, North Carolina, it costs us $45 an hour. And so we've done this, especially we bought a property like very heavy crime in the beginning. We paid for them all night. We had shifts from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. every day of the week, right? I think one month I spent $11,000 on extra shifts for the police officers, and their job was to not leave the property, right, all night long. And guess what? If you're selling stuff in the middle of the night and there's a police cruiser parked in front of your unit, your buyers are not going to want to come in and buy from you. Whatever you're selling, whatever they're buying, that makes it bad for business. So they go down the street and do that somewhere else, right? And so we make it bad for business, right? We have that presence.
It's CapEx, okay.
Absolutely.
Do you guys ever do CapEx, like cameras or?
Yeah, we do have cameras. Are expensive. You can go with like some Simply Safe or like a Ring or something that's sort of
like
low.
That was kind of my idea. Is find a tenant who's interested in security, and then just saying, okay, let us use your Wi-Fi, and we'll set up these cameras. And
you could definitely do that. You could pay for their Wi-Fi and do that, or give them a credit for it or something. The larger properties you run into some real scale issues, and the recording of the data and the installation. I mean, we did one at a property was $25,000, and we got, I think there's like 6 cameras. I mean, it's very expensive, but also came in handy when, we evicted somebody and she wasn't so happy about it. And she came and started threatening the staff and like throwing stuff. We got it all on camera, and, was able to turn that over to the police department. So, that it does help. What all my managers tell me, because what I always want to do is put a fake camera up, and all my managers always tell me that's a huge liability issue, in that if someone expects that something is being recorded, then when they need that recording and they come for it, the police department or something, and it wasn't actually on, or it wasn't actually a real camera, that could put some liability onto you. So just be careful if you're going to just put up fake cameras. That could be a problem. But a Ring camera or something on your size property could work for sure.
All right, guys, I got to run to this property walk.
Let us know how it goes, please. Post on the Insiders. Let us know how it goes.
Absolutely. I am very interested to come out and visit for that property walk that you guys were mentioning last night.
Yes, absolutely. We will get you on. I got your email. So you've already been sent over to Vinny, and he will be reaching out. So
I'm supposed to send a brewery t-shirt to Matt. So okay. I need his address.
I'm not going to be the one to give it out to you live on here, but
can you email me the office address and I'll send it to him?
We can do that. And you could Google DeRosa Group and the address is up on the website.
Okay, I'll do that then.
We're
cheers, guys.
You can find the office. All right, Chris. See ya. Oh man, I love getting into the CapEx safety concerns.
Yeah, I see that.
Fun stuff, man. I mean, that's what we do here.
No doubt.
I see we got some comments here, guys, from our team. We have a free market analysis tool that everybody put together. The link is there. So click that. What do you got for me, Hervé? What did I miss? Or what do you cover before we get out of here?
Hector came on about 15 minutes ago. Let's say you're on year 4 and the property turns negative cash flow because of insurance and some other stuff. How easy it to raise money for CapEx to cover the loss, and how would that affect the relationship with other investors in the group?
Why don't you answer that?
Oh, I said, why don't you answer that?
You want me to answer it? Don't do that, Hector.
Go for it, man.
How easy is it?
Easy.
Look, it depends on your deal structure. It depends how you're doing it. If it's just you and like some friends on a JV, that's one thing. You know, what we do, syndication, we have a lot of passive investors on every deal. We have thankfully never had to do a capital call. That is what you're talking about, to say, hey, we made a mistake in our underwriting. We made a mistake in our plan. Market conditions change, whatever the reasoning is. Our property returns are negative cash flow. So hopefully, Hector, you got reserves and can dig into that, and it's a temporary, and you working with your manager to turn that cash flow around. But man, if you got to dip into, back into your investors to raise money for CapEx, then you probably were undercapitalized in the beginning. You probably made some misses in your underwriting, and that happens, right? It's very hard to predict what's going to happen 4 or 5 years from now, for sure. So it would affect the relationship, in my opinion, no matter who it is. Nobody wants to have to put more money back in. It happens. People do it every day. But it's definitely not going to be a fun conversation that you're going to have. But I do recommend that if you recognize the need for it and you're in that situation, then you be upfront and honest and open with your investors and open with your partners. And you say, look, we're in a mess. Here's the problem. Here's the solution. I need X dollars, and here's what we're going to do with it. Here's the business plan. Here's why things are going to be different this time around. And the more upfront and honest and open you are, it's not an easy conversation either way, but at least your team, your partners, your investors will feel like you've got a plan to turn it around. And if you don't have that plan, then you need to find someone that can help you, whether it's new contractors, property managers, partners, mentors, advisors, whoever, so that you can come up with a plan to restabilize that property and bring it out of that negative cash flow situation.
Yeah.
How'd I do, Hervé?
Hey, man. You nailed it. As I thought you would, which is why I wanted you to answer the question. But no, listen, you're 100% right. At the end of the day, Hector, you have to be just straight up, honest, transparent with your investors. It's a tough call to make, like Justin said, but it's a call that has to be made, right? And and you want to let them know that, as I said earlier, you have found a solution and maybe a couple of solutions to this particular problem, and this is how you plan on implementing it and whatnot.
That's it.
And so, listen, things happen, Hector. It's not the end of the world. And I think you have to make sure you convey that to your investors as well. It's not the end of the world. This is a bump in the road, and this is how we're going to get over that bump in the road, kind of a thing.
Yeah, just don't take it lightly. Don't be cavalier about it. No. Understand the gravity. Make sure they understand that you understand the gravity of what you're asking for, because especially then, they're not going to want you to come back a month later and a month after that and a month after that. It's like, okay, let's do this once. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's get our plan together, set clear expectations about how things are going to be different from this point forward.
Yep. Good stuff.
I think that's it, man. I think we've done enough chat with Matt without Matt today.
We got to chat with Matt. I hope folks have went ahead and sent their contact information to the link there in order to get their free swag and things like that. we put in another link to go ahead to join our free Facebook community. There's the link over there. So go ahead and do that as well. And of course, please feel free to go ahead and download our free market analysis tool that will help you to evaluate real estate markets at DeRosaGroup.com/market tool. Justin, this is great, man. I think you did an outstanding job. Your best impression of Matt. I think you came through pretty good.
I think we did all right. Here.
Yeah,
well, Hervé, I miss you, buddy. Hopefully I'll see you in person. We'll tour some properties pretty soon, I hope.
Some
next week. Come down, man. Get the smoker fired up. Come on. It's warmer here than there, I'll tell you that. Come on. All right, guys. Heather, thank you. Have a great weekend. For all of you guys, thank you, Chris, for coming on. Thank you, all of you guys who participated and had questions. Chad, Jean-Pierre, all you guys. Adrian, great to hear from you. I haven't talked to you in a while, man. So Steven as well. So all good questions. Hopefully you guys all have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Great weekend. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.